Hey, need more games to slap in your ever-growing wish list? I got your fix right here. Let me tell you about some upcoming indie games that I've found. Ready? Let's get it. So, this is Rune Fencer Illyia, an indie game I backed. A Metroidvania with inspiration from the more obvious Metroid and Castlevania, but specifically Area of Sorrow and Order of Ecclesia, to the more obscure ones like Brave Fencer Musashi and Threads of Fate. And that's according to Amo. Brave Fencer Musashi being the one I recognize the most, because I at least played the sequel. Being able to use the enemy's attack for yourself is the main feature of Illyia. I found myself getting excited for when I did it the first time. The fact that you can equip 2 of them at a time could possibly lead to the most interesting ways to approach every boss fight. As far as the demo goes, my favorite skill to steal was the horn. Mostly because it makes a funny noise. Now, I did stumble a lot through the Illyia demo, and I pretty much threw myself at the final boss of the demo until I could understand the dodge mechanic and be able to do the parry mechanic on command. The first 2 hours of the game, and Illyia has so much to think about in terms of affecting your gameplay. And it starts on frame 1 when you're able to pick what you want to specialize and sacrifice what stat you want. Call it a hunch, but I think Rune Fencer Illyia is gonna be a very mechanically dense game. And I mean, Amo straight up gives Illyia the ability to triple jump like Mario. Why? Because according to him, it's one of the most fun techniques ever added to a game. I'm more of a Sonic guy, but I love the enthusiasm. It excites me and overwhelms me at the same time, to know that this is only a hint of what's in store for everyone here. And will the dev add the BLJ to the moveset? Find out next time when Rune Fencer Illyia comes out in full. Zwaard is an action-adventure game, with the main inspiration being from Hyper Light Drifter. The setting and tone of the world is what really stuck out to me, and in fact, it was my favorite part. Starting off in the train with the radio going on about Patient Zero being used for cellular research, I'm willing to bet that's what led to the downfall of this game's world. For the gameplay, the main features that stick out are the sword building and durability mechanics. In this game, you'll find many pieces that make up a sword, and with those pieces you get to build a new sword or repair what you have, because the blade will get dull the more you use it, and when that happens you'll do very little damage. Should you get all matching parts to build a certain type of sword, you'll get a bonus in the stats. From playing the demo, I had 2 issues with it, and one of them was the fact that the stamina meter was hard to see on the grass, and I would lose track of the arrow. Both of these icons can have a black outline to make it more visible. The other issue I had was the game wasn't controller friendly yet, and the developer knows that, so, well, there's not much for me to say there. It's nice to see that Zwaard is coming along nicely. I can't wait to see more from the game. GENOKIDS is a hack and slash that got funded in mid-2023. I found myself being an early backer pretty quick when I saw that it had a character switching mechanic. From what I played in the demo, and with only 2 characters playable, you can already do so many sick combos. But I know I only scratched the surface of what's doable. However, managing the hype meter while doing these combos might be a tall ask for me at times. So I think having the health bar and hype meter hover over the character that you're playing might help me out, and maybe some other people as well. Otherwise, I liked what I've played and seen so far. The art style looks great, and the voice acting is charming as well.
Were you really about to jump off just now?
We are, yes!
What? No! We'll go to the flying ship and see if we can still use it.
You mean that kiddie ride?
It's not a kiddie ride.
Dreamsweeper is a dungeon crawler mixed with Minesweeper and lo-fi. Even if I've known about this game being made for some time, I never would have thought to combine two types of games like dungeon crawling and Minesweeper. But hey, it works. Not only do you have the standard Minesweeper mechanics going on, but you can also get items that aid you, such as damage reduction and a revive, but also there's enemies for you to fight. With the lo-fi music playing in the background, Dreamsweeper could make for a relaxing experience. However, if you put yourself an expert, it could be just as stressful as playing normal Minesweeper. You know, maybe just like regular Minesweeper, I hope custom mode can make it in. You could tweak the settings to spawn less items, or max out the dangerous obstacles that you can have out on the field, but that's if you're a masochist. Fun game with a fun aesthetic. Standalone is an action roguelike that I've wanted to test out for a while now, but I never got to it up until this point. The presentation for the game is what surprised me at first, and that's because of the specific cutscenes that involve question mark events. While all of them incorporate some sort of orange, given the setting, being in a wasteland, the style shift is really cool, and the gameplay is no different. In this game, you can unlock and use different weapons that allow a certain amount of active and passive modules to be equipped. The active modules stack on the main 4 skills that you can have total. You can hit the same button multiple times and more moves will come out. The passive modules simply adjust how that specific line of skills work. There are also items that aid you in combat as well. The depth of this game is likely going to be extremely deep, and that's pretty exciting. I liked using the voltage halberd a lot more than the greatsword, even if it does look more like a katana to me. For honorable mentions, I have 2, and one of them is Princess Pomu and the 5 Moons. Pomu will be a Metroidvania with some beat-em-up elements, and it'll have guns. I knew about this game's development for a while, so I got to see the improvement over time. And of course, any game I can combo in is always going to be in the back of my mind. I'd say Pomu's coming along just fine, and it's good to see that. And then there was Dimensional Slaughter is a retro-style, fast-paced, roguelike movement shooter injected with ADHD. Man, that was a mouthful. Honestly, that's all I have to really say about this game. In my opinion, you should probably just play the demo. Me talking about this game isn't going to do it justice. You should especially try out the demo if you believe that death is theoretical. Maybe even buy the early access as well.
Off to visit your mother.
Deathbound is a Souls-like, and only recently I've heard about this title, January 14th to be exact. I enjoyed the intro's art style, but that gameplay? For a pre-alpha no less, impressed me. Initially, I thought the combat was fine, but only with the one character with the crossbow and dagger. But the more I played that demo, the better the gameplay got. The main mechanic of Deathbound is morphing. You're one entity playing as 4 characters. Every character has a unique fighting style with strengths and weaknesses. You can switch between them in and out of combat. If you switch characters in the middle of a combo, you'll be able to do a morph strike. You'll need sync to be able to perform this action. With sync, you can also do a morph dodge as well. All characters have a separate meter for stamina, but if one falls in combat, you lose. However, the active character in the party lifesteals to get health for the rest of the party. You can heal the active one in the party, but it takes an item, and that item will take HP from the inactive ones in your party. Switching between everybody is key to surviving and dealing big damage. By the second half of the demo, I understood how combat should go, roughly, and I love it. I had my favorite characters to use, and I had ones that I could tolerate. However, it doesn't simply end with having your favorite team. your whole squad could have conflict or synergy with one another. Of course, having synergy is always good, but conflicts can have one increased stat while decreasing another. One can possibly take advantage of the conflict, even with the downside. I love the potential depth this game has. I did notice some qualities of the game that annoyed me. Climbing up and down ladders is just too slow. Being able to use the sprint button to climb and descend faster should be an option. The boss cutscenes need to have a skip option for multiple attempts. The boss that you have to fight in the demo has multiple phases, and I gotta be honest, after the first time, I got pretty irritated watching it. Granted, it only took me 2 tries to beat the boss. And lastly, I feel like the big guy's attacks are just too slow. I am aware that I have a strong bias towards characters that are more agile, but I can't help but feel he should be just a tad faster, because I only felt he was usable when switching to him for the morph strike. However, for what you have on the game so far, great job. All of the demos this festival were top tier quality. I did have some clear favorites as I've been emphatic about them, but they were all a treat to play. Thanks to Amo and the Zwaard dev for allowing me to try out their games. Now, go on, wishlist these games and try them out if you can. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, if you want to go down that indie game rabbit hole, consider clicking that playlist. Trust me, it'll be worth your while.